Welcome back. It's countdown to the sound of the closing gong at the Nigerian equities market, and during the intraday trading, the index was in the red 0.44%, driven mainly by the sell-offs in the banking sector. Let's cross over now to the exchange for an update. Boston is right on the trading floor. Hello, Boston. Good afternoon. Is a respite ever in sight for the market the way it's going?
No. It's not happening. In fact, that figure you gave was quite a couple of hours ago. Right now, we're about 1.32% in the red. The market is bleeding. Year to date, the NSE 30 is now down by as much as 30%. The market, investors are taking profit off the bellwethers in the industrial goods sector and the consumer goods. The most Nestle Nigeria Breweries is down. Nigerian Breweries is down. Cement Company of Northern Nigeria is down. Flour Mills is down. Stanbic IBTC is down. So if you're looking at the big companies on this market, it's another day, a very day of load shedding in terms of prices for the stocks. Look at the gainers for the day. These are very small stocks, largely in the insurance space. Japol, Law Union, and Rock made about 9% gain. Japol is about 0.1, just about 1 kobo uptick. Eternal Oil is very small. All retailer about 1% in the positive. QTix is another very small packaging company, up by nearly 1.27%. So it's been a very a bit of a nasty Wednesday for the market here. If you ask me, the oil and gas index is about 0.2% in the green. That's the only green we're seeing right now. Insurance is down by almost 2%. The banking sector losing the most, 2.56%. Industrial goods about 0.52%. Consumer goods about 2.38%. So if you look at these numbers put together, Chimeze is looking like a very nasty market day. Look at some of the story that we have here for you. Of course, you heard about the Stanbic IBTC and Diamond Bank, the steering committee of the board. That's the independent body or in charge of corporate governance rating system for companies listed on the exchange is the one that will be reviewing the ratings of Diamond Bank and Stanbic IBTC and Diamond Bank caught in the MTN FX repatriation saga. That's the CGRT system board there. But in terms of what other news is here today, earnings from one of the small cap companies, RT Briscoe, the company reporting a loss for the period 809 million naira. This is worse than we saw in the first half of 2017. This company says its gross profit went down to just about 300 million from 514 million in the same period, first 3 months of last year. The headline figure, which was revenue, was down from 1.22 billion naira last year to 894 million in the first quarter of this year. So that's the numbers as we have it. Chimeze, any other questions?
Sure. Well, you talked about Stanbic IBTC and Diamond Bank. Now, this review on the compliance of these two banks, what is the possible implications for the banking sector in general?
Well, this is what you expect a market, a very responsible market, to do. In fact, this review of the corporate governance rating system by this board is the most appropriate thing to do. When you listed on the market here, we call it you've undressed in public. So when you get listed, become a PLC, you listed, you become a public company, then you undress in public, that means you're naked. That means whatever you do, everything that you do from having breakfast, lunch, and dinner becomes a matter of public. So perception is something here. If companies are caught up in what the Central Bank of Nigeria called illegal FX repatriation, then these banks are listed here, you expect the corporate governance rating folks to sit down and say, look, we thought that you guys have a better corporate governance rating. That's why we rated you and you got a award. That took place sometime this year, I think around February or so, earlier in the year, and this company stood up for honors. now, if there's something here that the regulator is now questioning you about, we need to know. We need to bring all your papers down. How do you guys get up to get involved in a transaction involving foreign exchange that the central bank says it was illegal and that you were told about it and things like that? So this story about the MTN FX repatriation is not over yet as far as we are concerned. For the two companies, remember these are 4 banks involved. The 2 others are not listed here, which is Citibank Nigeria and Standard Chartered. They are not listed here. But for Diamond Bank and Stanbic IBTC, the story is not over yet. They are paying that fine. Now the corporate governance rating system, which is a board, which is an independent board. Of course, remember this board is headed by independent individuals, not the Nigerian Stock Exchange, headed by the head of the Convention on Business Integrity, Mr. Soji Apampa. It is his team that will be sitting on these 2 banks and ask the directors and the management to step forward, provide all the necessary information. How did they arrive at those deals involving the MTN? And of course, we expect them to maybe brief the market, as it were, on the outcome. If nothing wrong has been done, they will say so. If anything is to be reviewed, they will let us know. Chimeze, back to you.
Yeah, but so just before I let you go, you talked about RT Briscoe's losses and its financial statement. Were you able to speak to any of the traders? What actually happened to that company?
Well, what I can say, no, I haven't spoken to any of the traders, but again, this is one company that is into automobile trading, as you may know. They also have some service points in Nigeria. RT Briscoe is one of the oldest companies doing business in the auto retailing, automobile industry in Nigeria. So, and they do servicing, retailing, spare parts, and things like that. And this is one business area, Chimeze, you'll agree with me that the Japanese seems to have taken over. Now you find more Japanese brands on the streets of Nigeria than you have RT Briscoe products. So this is one story here. So it's not really surprising that revenue, or what you call sales, in terms of their products, their automobiles in Nigeria, came down from 1.2 billion to 894. That means there's a very big struggle for the automobile market industry in Nigeria, and very soon Volkswagen from Germany may soon start producing in Nigeria, and it's going to get a lot tougher. I don't know what you drive, or what also is driving me, Chimeze, is the fact that investors need to look at what is the dividend, what are they getting for investing in this company. If it's loss-making and it hasn't paid tax to the government for 2 years, maybe it's time to drive something else.
All right, Bosun. Well, I don't know what you're driving, but I know what I'm driving. Thank you for your time. The International Center for Settlement of Investment Disputes has ordered the Tanzania Electric Supply Corporation to pay Standard Chartered PLC $148.4 million after breaching a power contract. The case that began in 2001 concerns a purchase agreement in May in 1995 between Tenesco and Independent Power Tanzania Limited, whose rights were later taken over by Standard Chartered in 2014. And finally, Trafigura has lost its last big contract in Angola, once a core market and revenue generator for the trading house, as the country's new president, João Lourenço, parts ways with oil firms that worked with his predecessor, José Eduardo dos Santos. Trafigura lost the rights to sell Angolan fuel oil this year, with the contract going to French oil major Total. Fuel oil was the last major Angolan contract Trafigura had, with volumes of 1.1 million tons in 18 cargoes over 2017, worth some $450 million. And that's a wrap on the show. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Chimeze Obi Iwagu.